Next is the persons in the United States that no one that does not find that I am most adored by that person only, per that person only, and most desired by that person and per that person only, and wishes me as I am for the supposed to have children with, as the sole source, nobody else. Nobody who matches that description I wish to pursue me at all. In fact, assume that all of 100% of all others, therefore all women, children, and whoever it is, also animals, to care for or personally, or to pursue in any way sexually or romantically, or whatever it is that you use as vocabulary, okay? That or make no mistake. To me, work never was, never is, and never will be. Unlike some, um sex. That is why medicine, however, deals with sex, and also with many aspects of it. In detail and not does not disguise it, especially mental health and or physical and neurology, and doing so kills persons massively and becomes an organized crime. So that's what I do, and so I need to do so that you don't stare at me also. That is to say, the African American person who was when I went to Washington DC to visit the library, as it is customary, who stared again at my breast. Don't do that, okay? I mind it. Don't do that where even if I have no blouse. That is also in nude beach. Don't do that. Don't do that because you may actually get in trouble for it, especially if you're security. Just don't do that. Don't stare at my body parts. Don't stare at my. No, I didn't do that in that San Francisco beach, breach. That makes me a nice person. That person assaulted me and should be in jail or should be deported, taken away the passport. Have courage to do so to from persons that are criminals, and stop framing me. That's what it is. Or I will decide to where to actually move. Now, that's for sure. It's not going to be Poland, like I said already. I don't want to be castrated in the name of Jesus, or force some savage that cannot control himself with half doped brother or his girlfriend who never pursue any children, and that is in the name of Jesus again, to spot in calendar whenever it is that it can be skipped as a relationship, which is a joke of some sorts for moral values and for the desire as well. Not mine, everybody's, each for a couple. But let's not teach that. They have a poll now to not teach that. I mean, that is the joke. The whole country is a joke for me. That is next. The persons then can decide on their own. If not feeling that way, just don't pursue me. That it was done by person. One person I went to a bar with because they invited me for a drink. He for sure knew that. We spoke and we socialized. It was I and another woman, the three of us, and his buddy who played the billard. They offered because they were traveling, and I refused. And I had my own plans, and it was nice. It was good. And that was he did not offer sex, he didn't want sex, and he did not insinuate any sex. And from now forward, I never, because of how that person was, and I would never want to pursue him. That person was already involved with someone enough to know such thing intuitively, that I do not want to be rejected and used for an income, or to be provided for as compassion, because that's humiliating. If he was involved and that person rejects him, waiting for him forever because she prefers to be dead, or walk like a zombie alive, sleeping all day, that's not my fault. I don't do that. I divorced because there was not enough natural law, and don't force me back into Poland to persons that harassed me. Because that's what growing up is about, and maturity. If somebody grabbed your daughter, would you marry her to that person like it was a custom in medieval ages? Because when she's crying, that means that she's disobedient. So from the United States, I've rejected the Houston, then the Arizona, the in Arizona, all of persons there, the Native Americans on street. From now on forward, none of them was of romantic interest. So be sure, I do not feel that I have any sort of affinity toward racially just because I had one person who I had sex with that had skin color that was darker. That is zero. There is a zero correlation. It depends on how person is as a person and how interested that person is, and interesting, not versus at the same time, and not as source of one another, but as also one of the components of relationship. And so that was whoever I went. Oh, I know. From in Washington, the person I went out in to a bar in Forks. Apart from the two policemen that I already mentioned, the person that I went out with that was a clerk, a shop clerk. He continued to be at work at that bar and greet others. And then he said that his mom screamed that she was worried already because it's a person who is 30 something and is kept in small town pretty much hostage, and I am not in no way moving in there to help him, be it anywhere in the world basically, unless he is actually a person that prefers something else than having a roomie for life with a manager paying his house and having no furniture and living from I guess playing cards to have the witnesses or him witnessing the relationships. I did not have any sex. I held his hand once. I do not regret it. It was asexual for me. Why? Because I don't love him. I mean, I don't love him. I don't feel disgust for him. On the contrary, and don't do not feel that if you feel disgust for self, then you feel disgust for others. I don't feel disgust for myself. So if that is your, let's say, relative, second or third generation in town, then if you feel disgust for my hand touching him, you are being unreasonable. And then it leads to persons being unable to use even public devices or facilities non-stop. If not COVID, they have some other excuses. If you keep on killing everything, then you are disgusting because there's a fear that children end up like the killed calf. That's why. Stop killing, grow plants, and stop being a germaphobe all over. Oh, and insinuated that two persons that had sex are disgusting in any way. They're not. I mean, separating them is like having the a larva that is, fornicating. We keep that invisible after the wedding, however they are decorated. Otherwise, those all of those porn, all of the porn I rejected as potential partners in any sort of combinations, and also as sex, because any sex that is with more than one partner in intensity cannot reach emotionally possessive love that is wanted, and also in the degree of pleasure, the sexual ecstasy, it causes frustration. Why you, not me? So in that primal jealousy, there's violence, and that is why none of those relationships is pleasant or is a maximum pleasure, and I don't want it and never did that. And I teach persons to get persons as human rights activists from Pornhub. So respect that, because it's a hard job as you sit in some sort of room preaching that you are the best non-stop fat and the person that basically lacks respect to everyone. That is because you are so entitled to it. That is most of the persons that seem to be working on being dead by killing notoriously humans and animals combined just by voting, sometimes depending on state. So that is why the person that I went with to a restaurant, because he was so caring at work and now off work he was unable to wake up because that attention is shifted, and so that person I don't from now on forward will never ever romantically want to pursue or have any more dates, and I don't want that suggested and or impeding me from work, income, use of personal goods, and or from anyone, and being considered more than him. That is nothing. That is not because of that person's looks or professions. That is because combined we don't have enough in interest in one another. I cannot get to know him when he's trying to tell me what I want to hear, impersonating other men or women. And I cannot really have that person have any interest if that person seeks others as if I was one of the customers, non-stop in the conversation. Which is why that was dinner that was basically as if he was trying to save on me providing me nachos. I mean, imagine having a person who invites to a lavish dinner as opposed to someone to present self as a wealthy person that wants to have many children, because that's what it's about, and a person that brings to the idea the fact that I for sure cannot be entrusted, impersonates others, and also enables women to do the same over me, to steal my identity, because that's what it is about, and run around pretending to be me. And that is or non-stop enforce that I am someone else, because that's the United States, and that is meat industry, anonymous chickens. So remember, when you sing to someone, mention who that is. That is a clerk who works with Melissa Elmore, which I also, neither him nor the other persons I worked with, I want nothing to do from now on forward, and I don't want that to be insinuated in any romantic way. And as far as work goes, they are welcome to use that report, or welcome to not use it, not necessarily for the parts that they disagree or prefer to, or not. And depending on what it is that the consensus of the couple is, meaning as a as a couple, sometimes people lie, and the consensus is that the other one just does not want to follow that relationship. So that advice sent for both, if they don't pay me or hire me as a consultant, I cannot do. And no, I am not a witch. I mean, I have knowledge of Vika. That's why Vika is also science, the same as Buddhism and Christianity. If that is, all of the religions are like that. If that is followed as non-testimony, meaning those are facts. But the thing is that I don't want that to be a topic of conversation, apart from also not wanting to have sex and or wanting to have it as the scope of that meeting, or insinuating as he did that we are driving around because he's grabbing me. That man was in behavior. He didn't do that, but he likes, the same as that ancient, to have such impression to others, which to me, reputation of a female is important. Am I ashamed of him? Well, if he wants to hide me, I am. I am ashamed of him. Who wants to have a spouse who does not want to manifest that that person is loved as a source of pride, or that one is loved, that it is an idiot, not a man. And so that was true for many persons. Persons they don't have simple, basic truths about relationship to be able to be even cordial in having, which at least that fireman, he was cordial. He's able to reject someone in polite way. The reason that he gives is completely devoid of any sense, because that is not then also that he can work. He cannot work. If he cannot work, he's impeded by desire. If he's impeded by desire, then he decides based on rational criteria from OkCupid, because his mind is made out of a dating website, and that is not something that is safe for me, as in de facto. That is what that other one also. From now on, ever, I do not want to be insinuated, deprived of income, robbed of, or and have him impeded from work and or any sort of relationships on my behalf. Whatever they do over there, use whatever you need. Don't blame me, however. If you don't want to marry him, don't blame me that he loves, because he cannot love me if that hurts me. It does, it offends me. And that's why I am saying that.